But ultimately, I think that there is still that same identity problem, the same association problem with AOC that does not exist for Bernie. Bernie Sanders, on some issues, like on foreign policy or Israel, is not as radical as AOC is, as a matter of fact. And yet, Bernie Sanders doesn't get the same level of attacks that AOC has received. Anyway, AOC had her strongest ever quarter, raising over $9.5 million from 266,000 individual donors. AOC doesn't take a dollar from lobbyists or corporate PACs. Our top donor professions are teachers and nurses. 64% more first-time contributors. Yeah, AOC momentum is rising as Bernie is elevating her as like the spiritual successor of the movement. You know, I don't know what that will look like. Especially considering that AOC actually has better opinions on stuff like Israel, for example. But then again, there's also, there's also issues with her instincts, something that I have criticized AOC for. Number one, for example, she gets duped a lot by, she's too woke for her own good and gets duped by people that will use emancipatory language, okay? Like, she is too afraid to draw a line of demarcation and revel in the hatred of her ideological enemies. This was a problem with Bernie Sanders as well, and it's certainly a problem that persists with AOC on top of that. I would go so far as to say that on the issue of optics, for example, AOC was, and I'm not even talking about new Bernie, I'm not talking about Bernie of the last decade, but Bernie historically has not shied away from radical politics, demonstrating radical politics in action, as a matter of fact. This isn't to talk about his like Biden dead ender position or his liberal Zionist takes on Israel. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking like in general, the space that Bernie Sanders has occupied is seemingly earnest because he has like 8 decades of being that guy, right? And I think AOC listening too much to criticism from people online and being extremely online and getting attacked all the time and not being identifiable by specific policy positions will lead to a general election defeat potentially. That's a major issue, I think. With the likes of AOC. I like AOC. I am not shy about defending AOC when she does things that are defensible. I think I'm critical of AOC, but also simultaneously, talk about ranking all politicians, rating them on a curb, right? And I think in the fairest assessment, I don't think that's true. She's more popular than every other Democrat not named Bernie. No. You're mistaking what I'm talking about. I'm saying that AOC's instincts in terms of like when you have, especially when it's issues related to foreign policy, right? Like when you got her like doing programming with pro-Israel advocacy group under the auspices of like combating anti-Semitism, right? Like that. In my opinion, that is straightforwardly a mistake. I think that is a mistake. I don't think she should be doing that. I think she should just be like, no, we're not doing this. Like, we're not doing this at all. Right? Like, I get why she's doing it because she wants to draw a line in the sand to say, like, anti-Semitism is, of course, unacceptable, which it is. It is unacceptable. Yeah. She does, when she got scared after meeting Corbyn in 2019, that's a good example. Or when she got mad at Bernie, I think, for going on the Joe Rogan Experience. There's a lot of stuff, but no one asked for this criticism. You volunteer crit for AOC and give charity to stupid hogs in your chat. What the fuck? Wait, what? No one asked for this criticism. Are you telling me I'm not allowed to criticize a politician that I think is like next up for left populism in this country? What are you, insane? I criticize because I want her to be a successful politician. The fuck is this? I like that this person is doing the why do you talk shit about Kamala Harris? I guess you don't want her to win type shit, but with AOC now. Not saying that, but you go out of your way No, I don't. I think you're a bit harsher on AOC than you are on people who are complete trash like Gretchen Whitmer. In my opinion, I'm a hater of all corporate Democrats, though, so maybe I think I should just be meaner to all of them. No, I don't think I'm harsher on AOC than I am on Gretchen Whitmer. Not even a little bit. It's not even a question which one I prefer over the other. The reason why I'm not saying AOC is bad. I'm saying I wish AOC was more of a fighter. I wish AOC had more aggressive stances on issues that you could peg her on. You know what I mean? That's what I want. This is not even a policy disagreement. I want AOC to be an active fighter and not shy away from having some hardened positions. Whereas I feel like the overall vibes that plague AOC plague the Democrats as a whole. She does have a position. She is a leftist. She's a progressive. That much is true, right? Everybody understands that. Some people hate her for it. Some people love her for it. But ultimately, I think that there is still that same identity problem, the same association problem with AOC that does not exist for Bernie. Bernie Sanders, on some issues, like on foreign policy or Israel, is not as radical as AOC is, as a matter of fact. And yet, Bernie Sanders doesn't get the same level of attacks that AOC has received, partially because AOC is too online and she doesn't have the 50-year track record of being known as a radical element within American politics that has caused him to look, understandably, as an anti-establishment figure, and has caused him a lot of goodwill in the eyes of the American public. And even then, I wanted Bernie Sanders to be way more aggressive when he was running. Twice, my major criticism of Bernie Sanders was that he was too soft. He loved Joe Biden. Like, that was a huge issue. You know what I mean? I wish AOC was more confident in what she has, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because she has the opportunity to be the voice of this party. But I hope that she doesn't mistake that she has this position of prominence because she's played ball at times with establishment Democrats, and not because she hasn't. Because if you were to ask me, I would say it's because she hasn't played ball in certain instances, or because she is at least like had a position that is outside of the boundaries of establishment Democrats. That is part of the reason why she has this net favorability at the moment. Her association with Bernie Sanders as well. AOC fails to lead on issues sometimes. She falls back on tested rhetoric instead of convincing the base to follow her ideas. Yeah, that's another thing as well. Like, you need a stubborn asshole, okay? You need a stubborn asshole. You can't rely on centrists to uphold you every step of the way. If there is supposed to be any sort of takeover, of the Democratic Party, if there's any support for entryism that remains, this is the last bastion of said agenda. And it won't happen unless someone basically plays bully ball over and over again, and forces the Democratic Party in the way that Trump did to a certain degree into playing ball with her vision, with her agenda. Left populism. Running AOC is throwing away any progressive movement to the sharks. It's fine for the Zoomers and MSNBC watchers, but she has a Democratic Party label on her, and the reason Bernie does well is he protested for decades against the Democrats' selling of this country. AOC is doing selfies with Biden. Well, so is Bernie, by the way, ironically enough. I think she actually does lead on issues, but people try and micromanage her to such an extreme that they don't do it to Bernie, even on issues where she is better. This is not me simping, by the way, just an observation. No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's okay. You and I are absolutely in agreement on this. There have been so many instances where I'm like, people that love Bernie Sanders. Now, this is a hard, because everyone is understandably upset with Bernie Sanders constantly saying Israel has a right to defend itself. But I remember a time like 2 years ago when virtually every single person that loved Bernie Sanders fucking despised AOC. And I always thought that there was more to it than just AOC is a Latina woman or whatever the fuck, and Bernie is not. And I think it was literally because people were hyper focusing on AOC being too accessible to online charlatans in general. She should be using her platform of communication for good, and she does in certain respects, but never to entertain criticisms coming from people. You don't, Like, you don't deal with that sort of stuff. You're not supposed to deal with that sort of stuff. Yeah, she's one of the best 5 politicians in Congress on Israel, way better than Biden or Bernie. Exactly. I agree. 100%. Okay, I have to close this door. No. My dad and brother are here, and they left the door open. It's just like shining a fucking light in my face. Ultimately, I think she's better than a lot of the online left gives her credit, and MSNBC libs love her. Yes, I agree. MSNBC libs loving her is a good thing, and the progressive base loves her too. Okay? The progressive base of support that's like politically active, both outside of the Democratic Party and within the Democratic Party, actually love her. But I think all I'm saying is she should not be malleable. She should be more confident in both the power that she holds and be more confident in the positions that she believes in and advocate for them mercilessly. That's it. Leftists don't love her. Yeah, guess what? It doesn't matter. Leftists are fucking irrelevant, okay? What are we talking about? We're having a serious conversation here. What do you mean leftists don't love her? Who gives a shit? We're talking about electoral politics, okay? Oh, man, leftists don't love her. Okay, who fucking cares? You know? That doesn't mean anything. There's probably a benefit. But yeah, like, I always think of, does anyone have this footage? I want to show you guys something. I want to show you one of AOC's earliest campaign ads, okay? I want to show you when she first ran. Let me see. Is this the one? Yeah, I think this is the one. So this is The Courage to Change by Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez from 2018. Okay?
Women like me aren't supposed to run for office. I wasn't born to a wealthy or powerful family. Mother from Puerto Rico, dad from the South Bronx. I was born in a place where your zip code determines your destiny.
It also wasn't just this ad. There was also some like BTS footage that I remember.
My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm an educator, an organizer, a working class New Yorker. I've worked with expectant mothers, I've waited tables and led classrooms. And going into politics wasn't in the plan.
It was from the documentary. I remember her saying some stuff in the documentary, if you guys recall.
But after profits off foreclosure.
Like, this shit was literally crack cocaine. Okay? Actively taking a stance against establishment Democrats. Unafraid to very specifically call out enemies within the ranks. Not just talking about like orange man is bad. Everybody fucking knows that. All right. Every single time there has been a leader in the Democratic Party, they have done this. Obama did this. Okay. And it's so shocking. It is so shocking that they like this is to defeat the incumbent. Justice Democrats shouts out the Chunk Weigert and DSA and also Kyle Kalinske. And also the very fact that the Democrats were so secure in that position. A big fucking tent doesn't mean having shitty Democrats who have no constituency and simply have loyalty to lobbyists be a part of the tent that we're talking about. That's why I said do the Trump thing. The party itself is poisonous to the broader base of voters, Democrats included. Someone has to fucking litigate the resentment that people feel at the base of the party as well. So yeah, I think shitting on Democrats is unironically a good thing. Not across the board, but like actively saying, you're wrong. Here's an issue that is a gimme. I swear to God, it's a fucking gimme. And AOC has the power, influence, and prominence to do this. Okay, Israel. That's it. It's one issue where you could unironically just go, 75% of the base wants you to cut the shit out. They're blackbagging people in the dead of the fucking night for criticizing the goddamn apartheid state doing a fucking genocide. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing as a Democratic Party? This is the Republicans literally using the issue of Israel and cynically tying it to anti-Semitism to undermine the First Amendment, to undermine due process, to basically turn every single part of this problem into an immigrant enforcement problem, when in fact, immigrants are not even causing any trouble in this goddamn country. What the fuck are the Democrats doing? How are they not screaming on the rooftops about this? Sadly, that won't play to the masses. You're wrong. You're delusional. The masses are not pro-Israel. Please stop. I don't think you guys understand how fucking angry and resentful people are towards institutional power, okay? It doesn't matter. It transcends above party loyalty. That's why there's a plurality of people that don't vote for a multitude of different reasons, but this is one of them, okay? That's how Donald Trump won. He fucking dicked down every single contender in the Republican primaries in 2016. He went after every single one of them piece by piece, ripped them apart. That's how Obama won against Hillary Clinton. The base wants a ruthless fucking fighter. That's what Trump did, and he was successful. That's what Obama did, and he was successful. Shitting on institutional Dems right now would unironically be a benefit, not a burden, especially on key issues, and then not be afraid to defend. Hasan, you're hot as fuck, but you're a bad person. Wait, what? Like a bad bitch? Like I'm bad. Is that what you mean? Thank you for saying I'm hot as fuck, though. Israel is an easy win, but it's not people's number one issue. What do you mean? It doesn't have to be people's number one issue. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? No, it doesn't have to be people's number one issue. I never said it is people's number one issue. I'm saying it's an issue where people are diametrically the opposite of Congress across the board. And if your goal is to drive a wedge to showcase your authenticity as opposed to other charlatans wearing suits in Congress, that's a perfect entry point. Okay, there's normies like Theo Vaughn who talk shit on Israel, but it won't make them vote AOC. First of all, you are oblivious if you think that, because we haven't tested this at all. This is one issue anyway. It's not like my major point of contention here. A lot of people, Theo Vaughn likes Bernie, for example. A lot of people like the issues that AOC represent, okay? And just like with Bernie Sanders, they like it because they're outside, or, well, not AOC to the same degree, but Bernie Sanders is seen as an outsider at a time when outsiders are necessary for politics because insiders have ruined everything. People wanted to destroy the systems that exist so bad that they wanted to fucking drive a mallet through the whole process with Donald Trump. Not once, but twice. Yeah. Also, AOC's at plus 62%. Fetterman is at minus 17%. To say that like Israel plays no role in this is ridiculous, dude. Come on. Fetterman is not only this, Fetterman's approvals are underwater, not only because of Israel, because he's also a fucking right-wing reactionary moron. A lot of you are so one note. You literally think like, oh, Israel means like Muslim voters. There's not that many of them. Like, don't be stupid. It has nothing to do with that. It is so much more than that. Okay? Criticizing Israel and being unafraid and uncompromising, unyielding in your position is not about Israel at all, as a matter of fact. It's about everything else. It showcases for Americans that you are unafraid and uncompromising on your values. Okay? It's a significantly larger point. It directly puts you at odds with 99% of Congress, which is already something that is unfavorable. You're crazy. And the worst possible thing you could do, the worst possible thing you could also do in this process is like when you are uncompromisingly against Israel, for example, and also yelling at the rest of Congress for it, in all of the popularity that you get, there are going to be people that, for example, come to you and say, oh, I guess you love Hamas then. And in that moment, you can't fucking yield, okay? And I feel like if push came to shove in that regard, AOC 100%, I can see her being like, no, I hate Hamas. Hamas is the most condemnable force on the planet. They need to go away. And I will vote for every bill that says we need to kill more Hamas. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that she wouldn't dance around that and basically offer a major victory that basically says, yeah, I'm in the wrong and I'm sorry for ever criticizing Israel. There's a way to talk about these sorts of things without playing playing within the confines that Zionism is a permissible ideology that is like normal. Clarifying, I'm in no way defending Dems. I hate them. Just commenting on AOC critique. It's clear she knows what she's doing. I'm done. All right. You got me. You're right. She knows what she's doing. Good luck. I wish her the best. I've learned my lesson. There is no reason for me to offer critique to any politician. You're just literally doing Kamala Harris style argumentation for AOC now. This is not because I hate AOC. Why the fuck would I often collaborate with AOC if I did not like her? If I didn't think that she had a tremendous promise? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. My argument revolves around what I see within the base. The base also say they like fucking Cory Booker. Do you see me giving Cory Booker notes on what to do to win the fucking to win anything, really? No, because I know Cory Booker is an institutionalist hack. Why does Harris love losers? Yes, they do. Cory Booker hype is so 2014. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to this 4chan shit. It's ironic that chatters can tell you that and then simultaneously give you feedback on your commentary. Online leftists hate that you like AOC. Libs think you don't like her. No, libs don't think I don't like her. Everybody knows. But there are some people now being like, how dare you? These numbers may seem insignificant in their face, but considering just how deeply ingrained support for Israel has been in the U.S. thanks to decades of pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian propaganda, these shifts are huge. Look at this, dude. Look at this shit. 53% of U.S. adults have an unfavorable view of Israel. Are you kidding me? Democrats, 69% across the board, 71% for 18 to 49. 50 plus has a 66% disapproval of Israel. Like a 66% of Democrats have an unfavorable view of Israel. Are y'all crazy? Are y'all crazy? It's done. Someone has to be the one that drives the knife in because it's over, okay? And I think the person that drives the knife in is very important because if it's done appropriately, severing ties with Israel, at least on the legislative front, or at least like significantly diminishing ties with Israel and reconsidering our favorite client state attitude towards Israel, can either be done in two ways. It's going to either happen with a deeply anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist, or maybe even pro-Zionist, who gives a shit, Republican that benefits from the groundswell of anti-Semitic sentiment, and it will be a right-wing severing, okay? Or it can be someone like AOC, who is not anti-Semitic, but is certainly incredibly critical of Israel. What is this? Before you change subjects away from AOC.
Now, I want to say a word about my daughter. No. I want to say a word about Alexandria and why what she's doing is so important. And here's the story. 6 years ago, now I want to say a word.
Sigh. I'm imagining a Harris AOC ticket. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. The first woman president with a bright, young, talented vice president. Stop. This is fucking illegal, okay? This is worse cringe lib rage bait than anything. This is mathematically calculated to brick my brain. What you are writing, think before you type, okay? Because when you type shit like that, you are causing me to hard reset. Do you understand? You're causing my brain to hard reset. Sorry, can't respond right now. I'm reading Harry Potter. You enable these chatters whenever you're soft on AOC and Bernie? No, I don't. That person is fucking joking, and you're too neurodivergent to comprehend that. Jesus Christ. What's your excuse? I'm 127 and I can fucking clock that. How do you not clock it? Anyway, AOC Chuck Grassley. Anyway.